Okay. Good evening, everybody, and oh, I need to turn on a light. I'm in the shadows. Let's fix that for you, huh? Get me out of the shadows. I don't need to unlock that. There we go. And into the light. There we go. Hello. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're revved up, ready to go, ready for some banjo. I hope you're here and happy to party. I hope we're doing well. Toot, 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 toot. There we go. How are we doing tonight? Hopefully some folks are here in the chat and ready to hang out, ready to party, ready to play some more Bongo Zoomy. Oh, that works way too well. I gestured to the TV and I'm looking at the game. That's pretty cool, actually. It's aesthetically nice. Oh, we're pretty deep. We got Gobi's Valley to do. I don't remember if I opened Gobi's Valley or not, but it's Gobi Valley time. So we're doing it. We're going Gobi. I actually opened a shortcut, so we can take that cauldron. This is the cauldron by the witch's face, not the one in the sewage, right? Yeah, okay. And since we're already here, we'll just dip in and check what the deal is with the painting. It's filled in. Beautiful. So we can go right to Gobi's Valley. Oh man, today's been a day for me. I'm in a weird little depression slump, and I don't know why. So that's something. The waiter, please. We're okay. I'm excited to be playing banjo again for y'all. I hope it's fun and awesome. Cool. We're going to Gobi's Valley. So this level is home to the last move we need to learn. And of course all the standard collectibles. Banger soundtrack, all the works, all the things you could want. It's home to. At one point I was learning to clip into Gobi, I'm realizing, so I must have learned. Or do you skip Freeze Easy Peaks? Ooh. I'm like, I must have learned Freeze Easy Peak, but I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about when I was learning to speedrun this game. I don't think I ever learned a run route for Freeze Easy Peak, at least not fully. I don't know. I was learning to go in the quicksand and do a little beak barge through the crack in the back of Sphinxy. Oh God, I'm forgetting its name. I think it's Sphinxy. Jinxie is a Mario character, I think. But there's a little seam, a vertical seam in the back of his model that you can clip through with a well-placed and well-timed beak barge. I was learning to do that. I definitely don't remember the setup or anything, so like I'm not gonna try. Okay. Got the Jinjo. Got to the next carpet. It's tricky for me to talk about the game a ton just because I've played it a million times, but I really enjoy it. I think it's really fun. You know? Banjo-Thon good. I'm excited to do more Banjo-Thon. I'm excited to do more Banjo-Kazooie action. It's a Saturday night. I realized I was talking about I'm in some sort of weird funk. I don't know what it is. I'm not feeling lemon zesty, you know, for whatever reason. No lemon or zest in my pep step. Bismol. I don't know. Seasonal depression, you know, because winter and getting dark and stuff. Which I'm not about that. Okay, think. I'm gonna keep on that. I can go learn the move, I guess. The running shoes. I've learned every move in the game now. Now we can do a few challenges, which will be good. I'm gonna be real with you, I'm pretty intently focused on not dying. I have a history of calling this game relatively easy, and I'm talking about sort of being competent with it, and then dying in Gobi's Valley. So I'm trying not to settle into comfort and being convinced that I got this, because I got a feeling that when I let my guard down, I will not got this. So, grabbing the other shoes, not the cloth timer boots, the wading boots they're just called. I'm thinking of Tui cloth timer boots. Get all my music notes. Music man! Oh, chatters. Keeping my eye out for you chatters. I love you, chat. I hope you know that. I hope people who tune in here get the vibe of love. I hope that's the general vibe and consensus that y'all have. I hope it's good. I'm preemptively grabbing these notes just because I have a funny feeling that me trying to get all the notes on my way up is going to end in me not making it. So I'm just preemptively doing one of those maneuvers. Switch. We got it. We got it. I haven't tried, but I probably wouldn't got this. Hi, Lozmo. I don't know whether or not you want your name said on stream, so hello, but I know you. I know you. You're not currently downstairs of me, but within the next few days you will become downstairs. How you doing? How's break been? I hope it's been good. I'm excited to see you here in the stream. I'm on a very temporary setup with a laptop microphone. Chill with your name being said? Okay. Hi, Alice. I didn't know. If I know someone in real life, I always start with their username and let them tell me that they're okay with me saying their name, because some people have a thing about that, and I don't. Currently rather far. Yeah, you're on the other side of the country, actually. You're on the opposite coast of me, which is kind of cool. I don't know if you saw, but I booted Pikmin Bloom on a whim, which is really funny because there's nothing around me, and I've been topping out at like maybe 400 steps a day, like absolutely no steps. I'm going nowhere all break. I've been doing nothing. I'm in the middle of bumfrag nowhere, so if I do something, I have to drive, so I'm still not getting a lot of steps. But I decided on a whim to open Pikmin Bloom, and it let me send my Pikmin. It let me send. Oh, don't open the door again. I don't need to do the challenge. It's gonna give me a whole cutscene now. It let me send my Pikmin to the other side of the country, the other side of the U.S., to beat up a mushroom with your Pikmin, which I thought was really funny. And I can only assume it gave me that option because we're friends on the app. Because I figure otherwise it's proximity based, right? Like it's gotta be. Nope. There we go. And down we go. Heading back over tomorrow. Break has been good. Same here. I wasn't sure if it was today or tomorrow, but a pretty yuck rainstorm rolled through. So it became tomorrow. I know the Jinjo's up there. I'll probably save that for last. This is the same every time, and I vaguely remember things about it, but I don't remember it that well. Kazooie is on either end. Honeycomb we just hit. Sure, Kazooie's eyes are Banjo. The other Banjo is up here, I think? No, it's a Mumbo. Mumbo's diagonal, isn't it? Nope, there's a music note. This board's the same every time, and at one point I was learning to speedrun this game, so you think I'd be better about it. But here we are in the future, and I'm frequently wrong. That's an egg. That's a Banjo. Okay. There we go. That's a Banjo. And these two are the yellow Jinjo. But yeah, I'm also heading back tomorrow is the deal. You invited me to come help with the mushroom. Okay. So it was deliberately your doing. It wasn't just freak fate. It was actually good friendship. I appreciate it because it gave me something to do in Pikmin Bloom. There's very little to do in this town. Even just going into town is far away from where I am. So I've been playing a lot of video games, watching a lot of TV, which is like good. It's good for me. You know, in the sense that I have a hard time making time to relax. I was actually watching Bob's Burgers before streaming. It's been fun. Playing Overwatch with my partner, you know. Yay, friendship! Hell yeah! But yeah, no, it's been a good time. Let's go help out Gobi. Speaking of friendship. Whoa. Ooh, camera fought me a little bit. There it is. Let's go on a little magic carpet ride situation. I fell in the sand, so I figured I'd just catch it in the sand. We've got a bunch of mushrooms available right near your house. That's good. I've got nothing. Like, Pokemon Go, Pikmin Bloom, any of those, like, you know, AR map games, nothing's here. There's no spots to go, no events, no... Half the time, Pokemon don't spawn in Pokemon Go. They do a little bit more now because they force things to spawn around you when you open the app, but they don't spawn after you catch, like, the 3 they set out for you. You know, like, it's... There's nothing here. It's been really funny for me, actually. So, I have Lyft on my phone. I'm gonna name drop. Because, like, most, you know, when you're in a populated area, Lyft is a pretty good service. But I have Lyft on my phone, right? And that's fine. Because typically, they're like a useful service to have up in the city. But here, the thought of a Lyft driver, or like DoorDash, these things you cannot do where I am from. There's no places to DoorDash from. There's no restaurants. And, like, if you're getting a Lyft somewhere, you know, or being driven somewhere, it's a lot farther away than you would normally commission a Lyft for, you know? So these things are unheard of, you know? Like, it just doesn't happen. I'm from the kind of place people still read newspapers. Like physical newspapers. But Lyft keeps sending me phone notifications about how I should use their service again. It's really great, you know, life's better taking a Lyft and all that. And I'm like, where am I going to take a Lyft to? You need my location data to work. So you know I'm in the Middle East bumfuck. You should know there's, even if I did order a Lyft, there'd be no drivers to come pick me up. And it'd be insanely expensive. Ugh. It's really silly. It's very, like, corporate pining after me. But I can't play into their little capitalistic scheme, so they're just wasting their time. I know it's automated and whatever, but... Whoa. Little Banjo-Kazooie trivia for you. This is the only instance of a flight pad underwater. And you can't use it while it's underwater, but it's there because this doesn't have water until you do the timed, like, running shoe challenge I did and go into that temple and drain the water out of it. So you can fall down there while that moat is dry and empty and get hurt by the brambles and have no way out other than death. So they put flight pads down there so you can fly out. But then you fill it, and then there's underwater flight pads that you can't use. It's really cool. I've struggled with even getting a lift from Burlington Airport, so I can't imagine you can get anything anywhere else in VT. Alright, there's King Sandy Butts too. I'm gonna dive bomb this maze. But yeah, no, that's exactly right, honestly. Oops, I always do that. You go this way, but you don't commit. Unless you want the witch switch, but I don't. Oops. Go around this way. I catch myself before I go down the pathway. There's the witch switch there that opens the sarcophagus, but I already got the witch switch jiggy via glitches, so no need. Yeah, I've only had one time. Oh, I see we're lagging the hell out. There we go. Some frames got dropped hard, so I didn't want to speak, but I've only had one time in Burlington where I couldn't get a lift. It was actually really frustrating, because I had waited through 2 different buses on the regular bus route, and they had been full both times, so I couldn't take them. So I decided to order a lift, because I had waited for, like, what, a bus comes every 20 minutes, so like 40 minutes for a bus home. And I just wanted to go home. I was at the mall. And so I order a lift, and they're like, cool, your Lyft driver's coming a couple minutes before the next bus. And I'm like, fuck, I should just cancel. But I said, whatever, I'll wait for it, right? I'll wait. I just want to go home, and knowing my luck, the next bus will be full, so fuck it. I'll wait, and I'll take the lift. The time that the lift is supposed to show up comes around, and I get a text that no drivers are available in my area, and I'll be refunded what I paid for the lift. So no lift comes. I ended up taking the 3rd bus, and even then it was a pretty crowded bus, and I was pretty pissed off at that point. But you know, shit happens. But yeah, so like I've had a bad experience with Lyft in Burlington, but I don't know. Usually it's okay. I decided not to try to get that target from far away. I just flew right up to it. Cool. We're in the temple. Oh, right. This is just like Ruby. I always forget what's in each temple. Like, I'm like, I know how to get into you, but I don't really know what I'm getting into when I go. This is some BS, by the way. There are notes hidden in a little alcove that the camera will not let you see until you walk into the alcove. You just sort of have to know. There we go. 1,000 thanks. Yes. We pay the snake charmer and farted out eggs, and we get a jiggy. Cool. Uh-huh. Wee. Cool. That's literally everything in there. There's 5 notes. I think I know where the 5 notes are. There's a jiggy for messing with Gobi. Oh, jiggy for flying through the rings. And there's an empty honeycomb and another one of the rings. And then the last honeycomb is for messing with Gobi a second time. Because we just can't get enough of fucking with this camel, man. Found Uber to be a bit more reliable than Lyft. There was one point last semester where I waited over an hour to try to get a lift to the airport and couldn't get one. It's a good thing that I started trying early. Oh yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I try not to rely on the public transit for punctuality reasons. You know, if I'm ever taking it, it's because it's loosey-goosey, like, whatever. As long as there's one I can take still, it doesn't matter, you know. I try to... Where did that guy crop up? I wasn't paying enough attention, if I'm being honest. I know they crop up all around the level, and if you're smart, jump through that first one instead of flying through it a bunch of times when you're going in and out of temples, so they reset to that first position a bunch of times. And then when you finally do fly through them, the like second or third one is the last one, even though that's not how it's supposed to work. And you skip a lot of the trouble. Here we go. I saw a shiny and needed to investigate. It was just an extra life, which for me in this game is kind of fucking useless. Last time we streamed this, we blasted through 5 of the 9 levels in 2 hours and maxed out the lives counter. And then, because it's an N64 game, when I turned off the console, the live counter reset to 4. So I'm not going to bother collecting more lives, just because I don't need them. They're not helpful for me. And when I turn off this console, they'll reset anyway. I always think this is a honeycomb, but this isn't. This is a Jiggy, isn't it? Because the last honeycomb is bothering Gobi. Yeah, it's a Jiggy. Okay, cool. We're on track. I know where the last 5 notes are. I know where the last Jiggy is. I know where the last honeycomb is. Yeah, we'll just collect this. Go. Okay, let's fly back to the world entrance, because that's where we need to go next. And the quickest way to do it is to Big Bomb. Cool. There's Trunker here, who's in need of water. Gobi's a camel. He spits up water when we ground pound his hump. It's good. Animals fighting animals. I'm sure that's not illegal. But Trunker gross. He feels much better. I didn't show it off, but when you go by Trunker before Gobi appears, he complains about needing water and being all dried up. And Kazooie asks him, "How's your nuts, bark breath?" And I think that's really funny. Oh. Okay, right, I need to fly again, that's why I was climbing up here. I was like, what am I doing? Climbing up here to fly again, because the last thing we need to do is fly over here. And bully Gobi again. I think that's how real camels work, right? Water stored in the hump, and if you punch it enough, it spits it out. There we go. And if you punch it a second time, he spits out a golden empty honeycomb and says he's going to run off to the lava world. Or no, that's the next time we bully him. He says he's had it and he's getting out of here. That's everything in the level, right? Because if it is, I'll just jump in the quicksand, and if I die, I die. Yep, cool. If you die, the game resets all the notes in the level and all 5 Jinjos. So normally dying is pretty punishing. But if you've collected everything, then it just takes you back to the entry-exit of the level and lets you leave faster. To the point where speedruns will often line it up so when they get the last Jiggy in the level or the last collectible, it kills them. It's like Clanker's Cavern, the last honeycomb you grab, you time it out so your air meter's at like 1. You grab the honeycomb and then you drown because your air meter runs out like as soon as you grab it. And Treasure Trove Cove, you grab a Jiggy that's over top of like a crab, so when you fall with the Jiggy to do the dance, the crab kills you, so then you leave. Like it's... Speedrunners are bonkers. They're crazy. So with the Turbo Trainers, we got 2 cool things we can do. We can get the Witch Switch Jiggy from not Mad Monster Mansion. Freeze Easy Peaks. Freeze Easy Peak. And then we can get the Race Jiggy from Freeze Easy Peak. And we can get the Mr. Vile Jiggy from Bubble Goop Swamp. Which is cool, because that'll eliminate any and all backtracking that's left in the game. So we hit that switch and it spawns a flight pad where I just destroyed the webbing. And then a timer starts, and when this timer runs out, the flight pad breaks. So we grab the turbo trainers to move as fast as possible, we cancel them, go off the flight pad, and it breaks like right after. I usually save this till after Mad Monster Mansion, because Mad Monster Mansion also involves this flight pad, getting it switch jiggy, but it's fine. Oh, there's a Mumbo there. Bing bang boom. Jiggy. Speedrunning is so wild to me, especially as someone who is not remotely fast in finishing games. That's fair. I am really bad about finishing games usually. Speedrunning is just very practiced game. That's really all it is. As someone who speedruns, like there are a lot of speedruns with a lot of very precise techniques. I'm not trying to like shit talk the amount of skill that goes into some speedruns, but ultimately it's muscle memory. It's a repeated. You run the same route every single time you run the game. So really, all it comes down to is repetition. You know, it's. I can't skip this text. That's right. But yeah. No, it's like when I do a 16-star run of Mario 64. Yeah, some of the tricks are tough, and I can fail those tricks. But in terms of like, you know, oh, it's so hard to finish games. Well, I already know how to finish the game. I know the things I do and the glitches I need to get through it quickly. And I do them in the same order every single time with the same strats every single time. So it becomes more of a muscle memory thing than it is like a challenging, you know, grueling. Finishing a game for the first time will always be harder than finishing it on repeat playthroughs. I think it took me more than a year to finish Banjo-Kazooie for the first time. Now I can blast through it in like 2 days. Usually when we do proper Banjo Week, so this August you'll see it like proper. Banjo Week's usually longer streams and streams every day. It's really like a big event. And usually what I do is I do like a moderately length, sort of normal length, maybe a little longer stream where I blast through about half the game. And then the next day I do a little bit longer stream where I blast through the back half of the game. I almost forgot to pass him at the end of the race there. You know? And I don't fully know how to speedrun this game. But I have played it so much that I can blast through it easily in under 10 hours. Like, no problem. Blast through this game. Just because that's all speedrunning is. It's people who are so autistic for a game that they've played it enough times to know the best way to get through every challenge. You know? That's really all it is. Speedrunning's just autism incarnate. That's how I would describe it. There we go. And blast off. Hell, I speedrun Luigi's Mansion, as you may or may not know, and that 100% run. The only thing I deliberately learned in order to speedrun it came after I started speedrunning it, and that was learning to R-pump, which makes catching the boos faster, and I learned how to answer the trivia questions for Melody's boss fight in Japanese. I don't know how to do it verbally or read Japanese. I know that when she plays the Mario 3 music, you pick the third of the 3 options she gives you for which song it is, you know? Like, those are the only 2 things I learned when I started properly running 100%. Everything else I do in that run that got me to how fast I am is that I obsessed over that game. I 100%ed it way too many times on my own. Yeah, that's fair. Like, I always very optimistically say that any game could be speedrunned, and I think for the most part that's true. Like, people speedrun Animal Crossing. They pay off all debts, they get all furniture, you know, like, they're usually segmented, like, more complicated runs. and very long runs. But people speed run JRPGs that are like, the speed run is 10 hours long, um, let alone the actual like regular playtime. But Sims 4, I would imagine it's closer to challenge runs than speed runs, because there's no defined start and end. So it's like it would have to be like build a house of this size, start a family, like you'd have to set yourself a goal. Damn it, I collected a note. Not that that's actually bad. I give myself a challenge to try not to collect any notes when I revisit Bubble Group Swamp. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time killing a buzz bomb. This happened when I initially played Bubble Group Swamp. I don't know what the deal is. I'm also gonna get the beehive. There we go. Honey hive. That's me up. All better. Attempted a few Sims challenges, but you always lose interest too quickly. That's fair. But yeah, like I would imagine if people do speedrun The Sims, it would be that way. And like you said, it's just not like I think the appeal of The Sims is not the appeal that reaches out to like speedrunning people who are interested in speedrunning. Or like I know Just Dance is another thing you really like, and again, that's sort of like there's probably like a leaderboard for high scores somewhere. Like there's probably a high score challenge, but there's no real way to speed up Just Dance. You can't really speed run beyond like menuing fast. So. Hello, Mumbo. Make me a crocodile, please. I'm gonna have a sip of my root beer. I want to pick up a new speedrun. I'm just having a hard time deciding what game. Because there are a lot of games that sound good. I'm like, oh, I could run Sonic 1, or I could learn Mario 64 70 Star, or I could learn Banjo-Kazooie 100% like I've wanted for a very long time now. And I've attempted all those that I just listed. I've also attempted Banjo-Tooie any percent. But I'm gonna turn up my TV's volume for the Mr. Vile song here. Cool. But and I always fall off. Yep. I'll do the round 2 song since that's the one I have best memorized. So Mr. Vile is a greedy crocodile. He wants us to compete with him in order to eat all the Yumblies. Eat the most Yumblies to win. If you don't, or if you chicken out, Mr. Vile can and will bite you. And it hurts. It doesn't kill you. It just takes the health away from you. Round 1 and 2. Okay, so the whole minigame is doable without the speed shoes. It's not supposed to be, but it is. You just sort of tail Mr. Vile around and try to cut him off, like I just did there, eat the Yumblies he wants to eat, and you can usually squeak by. With the running shoes, he's kind of a joke. So. Until round 3, he's pretty hard, even with the running shoes. Speaking of, speedrunner of this game, who goes by Duck right now, got so sick of this minigame and its music, he made a song to go along with the music in the game. And it goes something like this. Here we go, we're racing Mr. Vile, greedy crocodile, doesn't make me smile. Going around to eat up all those Yumblies, and don't eat any Grumblies, they'll make you sick. That's right, on round 2 with Mr. Vile, greedy crocodile, doesn't make me smile. Going around to eat up all those Yumblies, and if you eat a Grumbly, you fucking suck at this. Greedy crocodile, Mr. Oh. Rocks, sucks, cocks, and don't make me smile. No, I missed a verse. I'm gonna try again on round 2, even though it's not the objective. Timer's running out, and Mr. Vile is gonna lose no doubt, cause we're the better, faster Croc, and Mr. Vile can go suck your cock. Yeah. Greedy crocodile, Mr. fucking Vile doesn't make me smile. Here we go. That's what I was. Okay. I'm playing a game remembering lyrics, trying to explain. Try this again with the wrong lyrics. Here we go, we're racing Mr. Vile. Greedy crocodile doesn't make me smile. On round 2, you gotta eat up all those yumblies, but don't eat any grumblies, will make you sick. That's right, on round 2 with Mr. Vile. Greedy crocodile doesn't make me smile. Going around to eat up all those yumblies, but if you eat a grumbly, you fucking suck at this. Greedy crocodile, Mr. fucking Vile doesn't make me smile. Here we go, you better eat up all those yumblies, don't eat any grumblies. That's right, he's Vile. The crocodile, he's a greedy croc, sucks cocks, and don't make me smile. Alright, now that timer's running out, and Mr. Vile is gonna lose no doubt, cause we're the better, faster Croc, and Mr. Vile can go suck your cock. Yeah, there we go. So that's the Mr. Vile song correctly sung. Do 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 do. Actually seen a form of Just Dance speedrun because they have in-game collectibles plus unlockable songs. You can kind of speedrun it. That makes sense. And thank you for the Dancing Dinosaurs. I'm glad that came back to me. I felt really bad when I dropped the ball during round 2. Because that's one of my favorite things the Banjo-Kazooie speedrunning community has given to us. Excuse me, is Duck's Mr. Vile song. I really like it. All the music in this game is fantastic, so to have lyrics for one of those songs, even though they're completely unofficial and crass, I love them. I'm a big enthusiast of memorizing the tune of game music and singing along with it. I'll catch myself singing Brentalfloss does games with lyrics. You know, it's a really famous thing, I think, for the most part. And I will catch myself singing his lyrics when I play games and the themes that he's done lyrics for come on, like Wario's Gold Mine in Mario Kart. Wario has really got a hold on quite a lot of gold here. He found this excavation, and he said, I'm going to call it mine. Now he's driving down a mine shaft in a finely oiled Minecraft violating regulations. What a silly prick! Like, it just pops into my head, and I'm sitting there playing the game and singing along. Wario has got a little shy guys that supervises. He's so. Oh, it's really good. So we need to go uppies. We gotta open Mad Monster Mansion before we do Mad Monster Mansion. So we gotta come up here. There's a cauldron I can get while I'm at it. Do-do-do-do-do. Okay. Does that link up somewhere? No. It links up in the Rusty Bucket Bay Road, doesn't it? Just kind of a dumb spot for it. Like, it's really close. It's like 2 rooms over. It's not very far. If I remember correctly. There we go. That was a nice quick dive. That is the other thing I know about speedrunning this game. Did I go too low? Yes. There we go. As I know how to do the quick dive because it makes a lot of things easier. Because normally when you jump into water, you don't just plummet to the fucking bottom. Is this right? Yes. Oh, do I have enough air? Yes. I was worried for a second. I was like, I'm going to drown a bear bird, aren't I? There we go. We're okay. I'm singing this into the lava register for me. Oh, one of my favorite games, dude. I'm having a great time. I would love to share this controller. I got it for Christmas. This is a Nintendo 64 controller. It's a wireless Nintendo 64 controller. It's the Brawler 64 by Retro Fighters. Really nice, has a turbo button, really comfortable. My only complaint is a complaint that no one else has. Because my only complaint is it's not shaped like a Nintendo 64 controller. If you know, I have a couple spares next to me I can share with you. This is what a Nintendo 64 controller should look like. Normally they're three-pronged monstrosities, right? Like that's a Nintendo 64 controller. I really like the three-pronged monstrosity because I like wired controllers, which it is, and um, I like the ergonomics of it. When I hold the center grip, it's like my joystick hand is getting a hug, and it feels really natural to pull the Z trigger, which is nice. And I grew up with it, most importantly, but it has some fatal flaws where most third-party variants get sticky buttons, and even the first-party ones slowly destroy their own control sticks because they're made like shit. Because Nintendo was the first company to put an analog stick on a controller. You know, they're like, I don't fucking know, make it kind of like a joystick, right? Make it tall. Don't make it tall. And the mechanism's really sensitive and prone to falling apart and having issues. Pretty much, if it can be a problem, it will be. They do have that iconic shape, right? So I grew up with N64 controllers of that shape and of varying shoddy variety. I've always cycled through N60, like third-party N64 controllers. Somewhere around here, I have a first-party one, but the joystick is like severely going. It's red. Maybe the buttons are sticky. I don't remember. It's got issues, and I really should try to get it repaired, but I just don't. Welcome to Mad Monster Mansion, by the way. This level's also got great music. It's really cool. I love it. But yeah. Anything in here for me to actually collect or just no? Okay. So that's my only complaint with this is I'm actually an avid fan of the Nintendo 64 controller in its shape. Like obviously it's iconic, but a lot of people don't like using it to control games. I really enjoy using it to control games. I am an avid fan, an avid enjoyer, and currently my plans for playing multiplayer N64 with people is to give them the brawler and use my my third-party controller that I was using before I got the brawler. So if somebody made a controller with internals that didn't suck, that was in the shell of the original, you know, or had the original shape, I would be a happy camper. I would be pleased with that development. We'll go in the basement. Trying to remember where everything is, and sometimes I have a hard time. But I'm gonna need a lot of gold feathers. I just remembered with the hedge maze and stuff, and the church with the boats in. Gold feathers out the ass. Not that many. Okay. But yeah. That's my only complaint. And it's like the buttons feel good, the joystick feels amazing. Both triggers are Z triggers. They both register as the same button, which is nice. And then L and R exist, which is nice. And the D-pad feels good, good size. C buttons feel great. They're actually bigger than the original controller, and I didn't love that at first because, again, I'm an avid fan of the original controller. But using them, they feel really nice. They feel really comfortable to use. So again, points to the Brawler 64 for being a great controller. I do not want to undersell this controller. I'm so happy I received one for Christmas, and frankly, this getting to use one is enough of a sale for me. Like if somebody had offered me to use one, I would have bought myself one. I wouldn't have waited to be gifted because I can feel the quality on it. It's a nice quality controller, and it's even though there's no port for like rumble packs and memory packs on the controller, the receiver, the adapter you plug into the N64 to make it wireless, like you plug it in and it's like a box that has the slot and reads rumble packs and memory cards for you. So I can still partake in games that require. I don't remember where the letters are. Trying to. There we go. Eliminate the letters that are in weird spots. There we go. Just gonna spell Banjo-Kazooie. But, yeah. Fantastic fucking product. And it's really nice that I can still, like, partake in Diddy Kong Racing time trials, which require... Diddy Kong Racing requires the memory pack to save time trial times. And some games save to the memory pack because they didn't want to do saving to the cartridge, and memory cards were a new and upcoming technology. So I can save those games that require me to save to a memory pack. I can still put in a memory pack and save to them, and I can still use other things as well. I would say the rumble pack, but the rumble pack. You're not going to get rumble. It's just going to shake your console. But to be fair, I've never been a fan of the rumble pack. I've never been a fan of rumble on controllers in general. But particularly the rumble pack is bad because it's the first ever controller rumble in the world. The first time you could have a rumble feature on a controller. And Nintendo's doing it experimentally, and it's a separate pack that you put into your controller and have to put batteries in to make rumble, and it shows that Nintendo didn't know what they were doing, because they just put a motor in there, which is still how rumble works to this day, but the motor they put in there is way too strong, so your whole controller just gets like it gets shooken up. It is not a gentle shake. Ow. I know the brambles from. I might die if I don't get help. I'm realizing I might want to kill some teepees or something and really focus on picking up that health because I'm running low and I don't feel like dying. If golden feathers weren't such a hot commodity, I would go fight the honey hive that's in the grass, but he's got bees around. So if I don't use golden feathers, he'll just hurt me for getting health from him. We'll be at square one. So we'll use our golden feathers on the teehees that we sort of have to kill anyway because they're a nuisance when I'm trying to get these music notes on top of the cues. And that'll get us a little health. It's still not great, but it's a little. You never experienced the rumble pack, but you do enjoy the rumble on the Switch. That's fair. I will say the Switch's rumble is the only controller rumble I've ever found bearable in my whole life. Because Rumble has always been just sensory hell for me. Please come attack me. There we go. Well, bro, it's your job to attack me. But yeah, no. So controller Rumble, I like Xbox 360, N64, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, all that. I've never, ever liked Rumble. No matter what console, GameCube, Wii, like, Rumble has never been a feature that I've wanted turned on. Growing up, I was religiously a turn off the Rumble feature kid, you know? And to some extent, I still am. But the Switch's HD Rumble does make a difference to me. It feels more real, and I appreciate it. If you can read sheet music, tell me if this sheet music is like something cool. Motsand plays nothing. He just hits random keys, and the game is programmed to whatever key you hit, play the root of the chord that is playing in the level theme. It played a different note when I ground pounded it. But yeah, the only Rumble I've ever enjoyed was the HD Rumble of the Switch. That one I leave on because generally it's pretty nice, and sometimes it sound. When I played Luigi's Mansion 3, the HD Rumble would sound like the things I was sucking up. It wouldn't just feel like, oh, the vacuum's sucking up coins. It would, like, the vacuum would go thunk, sucking up a rat. And the controller would vibrate, and the vibration would sound like a thunk. Like, it's so tactile, and I like it. Like, HD Rumble is the recognition of what Rumble was supposed to be at its inception, which is like immersion for the game. But otherwise, Rumble has never been, never ever been a thing I've liked. So the fact that the Rumble pack is intense. The N64 Rumble pack is like notoriously kind of mid because it's a little too intense for video game Rumble. But it definitely didn't help any that I am someone who doesn't like Rumble. So that's like hell to me, the N64 Rumble pack, because the Switch's Rumble, that was like a marketed feature, was that the Switch had like new and improved HD Rumble, that like you could program in the game a box full of like rubber bouncy balls, and you could tie it to the Switch's motion controls and tilt it, and the Rumble would let you feel how many bouncy balls were in the box. 1-2 Switch had that minigame for that. Like, that was a marketable feature of the Switch, was HD Rumble. And it does feel really good. I like the HD Rumble, which is high praise coming from noted Rumble hater Madeline. I don't like Rumble in video games, so if I like the Rumble of your console, it's because you did something right. But yeah, the Rumble pack. I can't imagine putting batteries in and turning on the Rumble pack that I have. Because the memory pack I use is actually currently stuck in a third-party Rumble pack and won't come out. So there is a Rumble pack in the adapter in my N64. And I'm genuinely just imagining putting AAAs in there and watching my console shake itself off of the shelf. Doing something in a Rumble-compatible game, watching it go brrr and slide. Because I would bet one Rumble pack could shake an N64. I really do. Here's the famous flower pots that people think are saying "fuck you." They're saying "thank you, People are like, oh, it kind of sounds like "fuck you," isn't that silly? Um, and it's actually really funny because they're voiced by this game's composer, uh, famed British video game composer Grant Kirkhope. Um, he he's the voice of these flower pots. He did all the music for this game as well, but he's the voice of the flower pots, and he originally just sort of recorded it. And said what just said fine, it was good, and Nintendo like told them you can't do that, and they were like, what do you mean? And they're like, you're saying fuck you. And he's like, no, I'm saying thank you, I'm British, and they're like, you gotta fix it. And they went through that rigmarole like 10 times of him recording it and showing it to Nintendo, and Nintendo going, you can't do that, you're trying to slip a curse into the kids game, you can't do that. And him going back to the booth and really going, thank you, like really putting his all into that TH to make it clear that he's saying thank you. And they every time they go, no, you can't do that, you're saying fuck you. And so finally he gets a take that they like, where they're like, yeah, okay, you're saying thank you, fair enough, that works for us. And it goes out and they publish the game. And lo and behold, it becomes a famous playground rumor, internet rumor, that the flower pots in Mad Monster Mansion are actually saying "fuck you," and it's just really funny to me because he never once intended for it to sound like "fuck you." As much as there are many things in this game that are like innuendos and a little crass and all that, that is not one of them. Like, there's the lady at the end carrying the tray with watermelons. That's supposed to be a joke about, big jugs. And there's How's Your Nuts Bark Breath, and Mumbo Jumbo, who's also voiced by Grant Kirkhope. His Ecum Bokum chant is whatever. But at the end of his chant, when he casts spells, he goes, Umanaka! Right? And that comes from Grant Kirkhope. He had pulled something, and his groin hurt. So he's walking around the office all day going, ooh, my knackers, ooh, me knackers, ooh, me knackers. Because they were hurting. Knackers being a slang term for balls. So when it came time for him to record this sort of chant, he needed something to yell at the end of the spell. And so he took Umi Knackers. Umanaka! Uminaka. Umi Knackers. Like, he was just like, fuck it. Like, there are things in this kid's game that are like the, adult jokes you never understood when you played it, It's very one of those, like, there are plenty of innuendos in this game. But the flower pots in Mad Monster Mansion are not one of them. There was no secret intentional ploy to make them say fuck you. There was a long deliberation to make them not sound like they're saying fuck you. And yet here we are, talking about it. It's really funny to me. It gets me every time thinking about it because it's just so, like, he went through that whole rigmarole of Nintendo being convinced that he was saying fuck you and needing to re-record it and re-record it and re-record it and redo it a million times until Nintendo was satisfied that it sounded like thank you. And then the first thing people do when they hear it on release is go, doesn't it sound like fuck you? It's really funny. I don't remember what these windows lead to, so I just break them. Because I know somewhere there's notes and honeycombs and jiggies and like things I need in order to 100% the game, which I enjoy doing. He should have leaned into the Britishness and had them say, "Oh, cheerio, mate, jolly good, pip pip," right? I guess, man. Rareware is a British company, a British game developer. Everyone is there. They're based out of Twycross, England. So I guess he should have. But he was trying to do like a spooky, like ghostly monster voice because you're growing flowers in a flower pot, and the flower pot is thanking you. You know, like oh, it's alive. The hills have eyes. You know. That's not what the hills have eyes is about, as far as I know. But I think it's funny to say that. Were there just notes? I thought there was a Jiggy in here. No. Okay. It's just notes and a Jinjo. But you know, so he's going like, thank you, you know, like wiggle your fingers, spooky, you know, like ooh, that kind of like spooky ghost type vibe. And I guess, man, I guess it sounds like fuck you. So you grow flowers in the pots and they thank you by waving a big old middle finger. That's more fitting than Conker's Bad Fur Day, another Rareware game that was in development at the same time as this one. You know, and that game is all about doing that, about making, you know, doing parodies of movies and making fun of tropes that are in collectathon platformers like this. Like, you know, you do like go to the other side of the area and grab this beehive and bring it back over here to the queen bee. And you do so, and you're like, oh, that's a very traditional 3D platformer thing. And then the queen bee gets in the beehive, and machine guns sprout out, and she shoots the wasps that had stolen it. Like, shoots them so they explode into bloody guts with, like, turret machine guns from in the beehive. And you're like, Jesus Christ! You know, like, that's Conker's Bad Fur Day. That's a real thing in Conker's Bad Fur Day. So, you know, growing flowers in a flower pot and then having them say fuck you and tell you off is absolutely up that game's alley. Conker's Bad Fur Day has a pile of shit that's sentient and sings opera. That game has 3 voice actors. One for all the male characters, one for all the female characters, and a trained opera singer that voices the singing pile of shit, the Great Mighty Pooh. Like, Conker's Bad Fur Day is the crass game. So if Rareware wanted to do swearing flower pots, they would have. They would have put them in there. That game's got a flower with big boobs. They could have easily did flower pots that say fuck you and wave the middle finger. It's wild to me. I love old video games. I think Conker's Bad Fur Day is definitely up there for me. It has a few jokes that haven't aged well, like it parodies The Matrix because that's the thing everything in the early 2000s did, and it came out in 2000. Like, you know, there's an Alien parody and whatnot, and like, I don't know, there's like a Dracula parody. Like, there's a few things that are sort of like, okay, you're a little dated, but a lot of it, by and large, is pretty good. And then there's at least one joke I can think of that I find sort of blatantly sort of in poor taste. The Great Mighty Pooh. You've memorized most of that song, hell yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about with Conker's Bad Fur Day. There's the one joke. I don't remember what the chapter's called. It's between the caveman rave and Great Mighty Pooh, I guess, or no, it's before Great Mighty Pooh. Between Bat Crazy, I don't know, whatever it is. It's sort of in the early game area. It's before the Saving Private Ryan parody, which is fantastic, by the way. The war level, that whole chapter is a parody of Saving Private Ryan, to the point where the like D-Day scene where they show up and storm the beach is a perfect replica, shot for shot, of the D-Day scene from Saving Private Ryan, but with squirrels and teddies instead of people. Like, so it's before they move into movie parody territory. There's the bit where you have to swim around and collect the cogs, and bring them back to the one cog, and that there's some sexism and prostitution jokes, and like there's just like that whole gag hasn't aged super well. Um, but by and large, a lot of the comedy is still fucking spot on. It's really good, like irreverent silliness, including the low-hanging fruit, like piss and shit jokes. Conker's Bad Fur Day is an awesome, awesome game. And yeah, I also have memorized most of the Great Mighty Pooh. It's just silly. Oh, that was routed very well. But yeah, no, I really enjoy. I'm an enjoyer of Conker's Bad Fur Day. I think it's a really good game. Um, I'm begging for a sequel or a spiritual successor, honestly. To the point where I've thought about trying to come up with and write the plot of a spiritual successor. But I'm just not that creative, unfortunately. I am trying to write more. I was brainstorming story concepts earlier today. I have a sheet of paper full of like names and concepts. I'm not fully sure what I'm going for. I just know I'm going for it. Is that everything in this level? Yes. Cool.